Welcome to this explainer where we're going to uncover the hidden operating system of the human body. Today, we are decoding a massive biological mystery. You see, for millions of people, the world is literally never quiet. They're constantly haunted by a sound that doesn't actually exist in their environment. But as we're going to see, the way our bodies process this so-called phantom sound has absolutely shocking implications for our deep sleep, our nervous system regulation, and ultimately, our longevity. Okay, let's dive into this because this completely changes how we understand the human body. What if the ringing in your ears isn't an ear problem at all? I know, it sounds crazy, but the science now reveals that chronic tinnitus is actually a complex central nervous system malfunction. It's essentially a glitch in your brain's software, not just the physical hardware of your ear.
Section 1. The phantom sound's source.
To truly grasp what's happening here, we really have to look at the neurobiology. Your auditory cortex is desperately trying to interpret a missing signal from the ear, so it fills in the gaps. And the collateral damage of that? It's staggering. Up to 77% of chronic tinnitus sufferers experience debilitating sleep disorders. Now, considering sleep is the ultimate foundation for human performance and metabolic health, disrupting it creates this catastrophic loop. Extreme fatigue literally feeds right back into a heightened perception of that ringing sound.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the hidden mechanism behind that loop. It's a phenomenon called limbic acoustic coupling. Basically, your auditory cortex physically hijacks the brain's emotional centers. We're talking about the amygdala, which drives threat detection, the anterior cingulate cortex and insula, which mediate distress, and the orbital frontal cortex. Your brain is essentially mislabeling this internal phantom sound as an active, life-threatening predator.
Moving on to Section 2. The hyperarousal vicious cycle. When your brain's threat detection system gets hijacked like this, it actively triggers your physiologic fight-or-flight response, completely destroying your ability to rest. Let's just walk through it. Step 1, you perceive the phantom sound. Step 2, that limbic system activates profound fear. Step 3, this triggers the HPA axis, which floods your body with daytime stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. And finally, Step 4, you enter a state of chronic hyperarousal. You're lying in bed, you're exhausted, but biologically, your body thinks it's sprinting away from a tiger. And this brilliantly illustrates the stark difference in the brain's electrical activity. In a healthy sleep architecture, those slow delta and theta waves act like a physical brake on the nervous system, gently guiding the body into deep rest. But in a tinnitus brain, those calming slow waves are incredibly weak. Instead, fast, wakeful brain waves absolutely dominate the landscape. The brain flat out refuses to power down because it's trapped in a highly reactive, hypervigilant state.
Section 3. When brain cleansing fails.
So you might be wondering, what actually happens to our brain health and longevity when we miss out on those restorative delta waves night after night? Well, the answer lies in the glymphatic system. Think of this as your brain's dedicated nighttime cleanup crew. During deep sleep, cerebrospinal fluid literally washes through your brain tissue to clear out metabolic waste. But when hyperarousal prevents that deep sleep, this entire plumbing system completely fails. The cleanup crew never even clocks in.
And when that clearance fails, neurotoxic byproducts just sit there and accumulate. We start to see a serious buildup of excitatory neurotransmitters like glutamate, pro-inflammatory molecules, oxidative byproducts, and even amyloid and tau proteins. Yes, those are the exact same proteins linked to dementia and cognitive decline. This creates a dangerous state of chronic neuroinflammation. And here's the really brutal irony. This toxic, inflamed state amplifies hyperexcitability, making your brain even more sensitive to the ringing. It's a vicious cycle.
Section 4. Hidden amplifiers. The jaw and airway.
Let's move on and see how this builds, because beyond the neurobiology, there are hidden physical villains exploiting this inflamed nervous system. Take the trigeminal nerve, for example. It's a massive cranial nerve controlling sensations in your face and jaw. But the crucial detail here is anatomical. The trigeminal nucleus in the brainstem physically intersects with key auditory processing centers. It's literally a case of crossed wires in the brain. So dysfunction in your jaw actually sends abnormal signals straight into your hearing centers.
Because of these crossed wires, people with TMJ, temporomandibular joint disorders, are 4 times more likely to have tinnitus. 4 times. Clenching your jaw or grinding your teeth at night doesn't just mess up your teeth. That mechanical stress modifies neuroactivity and acts like a literal volume knob, physically amplifying the phantom sound right inside your brain.
Another massive, often ignored hidden amplifier is sleep apnea. When your breathing repeatedly pauses during sleep, your blood oxygen levels absolutely plummet, a state we call hypoxia. This oxygen starvation actually damages the incredibly delicate hair cells of your inner ear. And simultaneously, your body panics. It spikes stress hormones like adrenaline just to force you awake so you don't suffocate. This creates a biological perfect storm, right? Oxygen deprivation, nerve damage, and systemic stress all working together to violently amplify the ringing.
Section 5. Rewiring the nervous system.
Okay, so we've uncovered the hidden mechanisms, the fear loop, the failed brain cleansing, the physical amplifiers. Now for the most important part. How do we actually rewrite this operating system? Well, the gold standard clinical treatment for breaking the cycle is cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, or CBTI. Remember that limbic acoustic coupling we talked about? CBTI goes directly after it. It identifies and reframes the negative thought patterns that associate the phantom sound with anxiety, actively pulling your nervous system right out of that fight-or-flight state.
So, the crucial point is that the ultimate goal for reclaiming silence and taking back control of your biology is habituation. This is a very well-documented neurological process. Think about how you don't really notice the feeling of the clothes on your body right now, or the constant hum of your refrigerator. Once your brain learns that a persistent stimulus is not a threat, it simply filters it out of your conscious awareness. Which brings us to Section 6, the science of silence.
To actually achieve habituation during those vulnerable nighttime hours, we have to leverage the science of sound. But how do you do that while trying to sleep, without annoying earbuds causing physical irritation? The breakthrough here is under-pillow speakers using bone conduction technology. These devices transfer continuous, soothing sound vibrations directly through your pillow to your ear. It provides sound enrichment all night long without disturbing your physical comfort in the slightest.
You see, absolute silence is basically physiological terror for a tinnitus sufferer. Without external sensory input, the brain turns its internal volume dial up to maximum, which just violently spikes anxiety. Sound enrichment, however, provides a low-level broadband noise. It reduces that stark, jarring contrast between the tinnitus and the environment, acting as biological relief. It finally allows your threat detection centers to stand down and relax.
Ultimately, the science leaves us with one incredibly empowering truth. You're not the victim of a permanently broken ear. Tinnitus is a neuroplastic change. Your brain learned this maladaptive pattern, which means through targeted therapies, sleep hygiene, and nervous system regulation, it can unlearn it. You have the power to rewire your brain's operating system.
The mystery of this phantom sound isn't just about hearing. It's a profound window into how our brains process fear, manage metabolic waste, and regulate deep rest. So, now that you know the ringing is actually rooted in your nervous system, what steps are you going to take to calm your biology, protect your brain health, and rewire your sleep tonight?